You know the feeling. You're about to make a decision. On paper, it looks perfect. The job offer has a great salary. The apartment is in a good neighborhood. The person you're on a date with checks all the boxes. Your logical brain, the one that makes pros and cons lists, is giving you a green light. It's saying, go, this is the right move, but something else is happening, a different kind of signal. It's not a thought, it's a physical sensation, a tightness in your chest, a strange, hollow feeling in the pit of your stomach. A quiet but persistent inner voice whispering, no, don't do it. That's a gut feeling. We call it intuition, a hunch, a sixth sense. For centuries, we've treated it as something mystical or unexplainable. And a message from the universe, maybe. Or just random anxiety we should ignore. We're told to be rational, to trust the data, to leave feelings out of it. But this feeling is not magic. It is not random noise. It is biology. There is a real, tangible, and scientifically understood basis for why you feel things in your gut. It's the product of a complex and constant conversation happening inside your body, a conversation between two different brains. Yes, two brains. The first is the one you know about, the 3-pound lump of wrinkled tissue in your skull. It's the CEO. It handles conscious thought, language, planning, and all the things we associate with being human. You know, it's the part of you reading and understanding these words right now, but there's another lesser-known brain. It's not in your head. It's wrapped around your digestive system, lining your esophagus, stomach, and intestines. Scientists call it the enteric nervous system, or the ENS. But a simpler, more accurate name for it is the second brain. This isn't just a catchy nickname. Your gut contains over 100 million neurons. That's more neurons than you'll find in your spinal cord or in the entire nervous system of a cat or a dog. This second brain is a vast and complex network. It's capable of operating independently from the brain in your head. If the main nerve connecting the two, the vagus nerve, were to be cut, your gut would continue to manage the entire process of digestion on its own. It can learn, remember, and produce feelings. Think about that. You have a brain in your belly. Its primary job, of course, is managing the complex business of breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, and expelling waste. It's a messy, chemical, and mechanical process that you absolutely do not want to manage consciously. The ENS handles it all in the background, but its influence extends far beyond digestion. The second brain is a major chemical factory. It produces neurotransmitters, the very same chemicals the brain in your head uses to regulate mood, emotion, and thought. For example, about 95% of your body's serotonin is produced in your gut. Serotonin is often called the happy chemical. It's crucial for feelings of well-being. Antidepressants like SSRIs work by managing serotonin levels in the brain. But the vast majority of it originates in your gut. Your gut also produces dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation. And it produces GABA, which has a calming effect. The chemical state of your gut directly influences the chemical state of your brain. The feelings you experience in your mind are deeply connected to the environment in your gut. This connection is not a one-way street. The two brains are constantly talking to each other. Their primary communication line is the vagus nerve, a massive nerve that wanders from the brainstem down through your chest and into your abdomen, touching nearly every major organ along the way. Think of it as a fiber optic cable, transmitting an enormous amount of information back and forth. But here's the fascinating part. About 90% of the signals traveling along the vagus nerve are going up, from the gut to the brain, not the other way around. Your gut is constantly sending status updates to your head. It's reporting on whether you're hungry or full. It's telling your brain about the nutrients it's processing, and it's reporting on its overall state. Is it calm? Is it inflamed? Is it under attack from bad bacteria? Your brain and your skull receives this stream of information and interprets it. Often, we experience this raw data as emotion. A disturbance in the gut caused by inflammation or a bad mix of gut bacteria can be interpreted by the brain as anxiety, sadness, or stress. This is why people with gut issues like irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, have much higher rates of anxiety and depression. It's not just that being sick is depressing. The state of the gut is actively sending signals that generate those feelings in the brain. This is the most literal part of a gut feeling, the gut part. When you feel a knot of dread in your stomach before a big presentation, it's not a metaphor. Your brain, anticipating a stressful event, sends a signal down the vagus nerve. Your second brain in your gut responds by changing digestive patterns, tensing muscles, and altering blood flow. You feel that physical response. The butterflies in your stomach when you're nervous are a real physiological event orchestrated by your enteric nervous system. The sinking feeling when you hear bad news is your gut reacting to your brain's emotional state. So we have one half of the equation. a powerful second brain in our gut, producing mood-altering chemicals and sending a constant stream of information up to our head, creating real physical sensations. But that doesn't fully explain the intuitive part, the part that seems to know something your conscious mind doesn't. Where does that information come from? To understand that, we have to look at how the brain in your head actually works. We tend to think of our mind as one single thing, a unified conscious self, but that's not quite right. It's more helpful to think of the brain as having two different operating systems running in parallel. One system is slow, deliberate, and conscious. It's the part of you that does math problems, weighs pros and cons, and learns a new skill step by step. It uses language, it's logical and analytical. This is the system you're using to consciously process these sentences. It's powerful, but it's also slow and energy intensive. Your brain tries to use it as little as possible. The second system is the exact opposite. It's incredibly fast, automatic, and almost entirely unconscious. It operates on instinct, emotion, and pattern recognition. This system is what allows you to drive a car while thinking about something else, to instantly recognize a friend's face in a crowd, or to catch a ball thrown at you without calculating its trajectory. You don't think about how to do these things, you just do them. This fast system is a master of pattern matching. Over your entire life, it has been building a massive, silent database of every experience you've ever had. Every person you've met, every social situation you've navigated, every mistake you've made, every success you've had. It remembers the subtle shifts in someone's tone of voice, the flicker of an eye, the posture of someone who is lying. It remembers the atmosphere of a place that turned out to be dangerous. It remembers the sequence of events that led to a bad outcome years ago. You don't have conscious access to most of this database. You can't just pull up a file called "Every Time I've Been Deceived." But your unconscious brain can, and it does, all the time. When you enter a new situation, your fast, intuitive system instantly scans it and compares it to everything in its vast database. It's looking for a match. It's asking, have I seen this pattern before? What happened last time? This process happens in milliseconds, long before your slow, conscious mind has had time to even take stock of the situation. If your unconscious brain finds a strong match, it sends up a signal, but this signal doesn't usually come in the form of words. It doesn't say, "Warning, this person's facial microexpressions are 87% similar to those of your untrustworthy old boss." The unconscious mind doesn't speak the language of logic. It speaks the language of feeling. The signal it sends is an emotion, a feeling of comfort, ease, and rightness, or a feeling of unease, wrongness, and danger. Now, let's put the two pieces together. The gut-brain axis. You meet a potential new business partner. Your conscious, logical brain is listening to their proposal. The numbers are good. The plan makes sense. Everything looks great, but your unconscious, pattern-matching brain is doing something else. It's analyzing their body language, their tone of voice, the way they hesitate for a fraction of a second on certain questions. It's running all this data against its massive library of past human interactions. And it finds a match. This person's patterns, in some subtle way you can't consciously pinpoint, resemble the patterns of someone who was unreliable or dishonest in your past. Your unconscious brain needs to send an alarm. It needs to tell your conscious self, pay attention. Something isn't right here. So it sends a signal. That signal travels to the parts of your brain that regulate emotion. And crucially, it sends a signal down the vagus nerve to your second brain in your gut. The gut receives this alert, it instantly changes its state. It might slow down digestion. It might tighten certain muscles. It might change the chemical environment. Suddenly you feel it. It's a cold, heavy sensation in your stomach, a feeling of dread. That is the gut feeling. It's not two separate events. It's one integrated, lightning-fast feedback loop. The unconscious brain detects a pattern mismatch or a potential threat. It translates that finding into a raw emotion. It communicates that emotion to the gut, which creates a physical sensation. And you, the conscious observer, experience this all at once as a single, powerful feeling that seems to come from your core. You feel in your gut. This process explains why gut feelings often feel so certain yet so hard to explain. You can't articulate the reason because the processing happened outside of your conscious, language-based mind. All you have access to is the final output, the feeling. When you say, "I can't explain why, I just have a bad feeling about this," you are being perfectly accurate. Your conscious mind doesn't have the data. The data lives in the silent archives of your unconscious. This internal surveillance system is a powerful evolutionary tool. For our ancestors, the ability to make rapid judgments about people and situations was a matter of life and death. Is that stranger a friend or a foe? Is that rustle in the grass a predator or just the wind? outliers. There was no time to make a pros and cons list. The brain evolved to process huge amounts of environmental and social data unconsciously and to provide a simple, actionable output, a feeling of approach or avoid. The gut feeling is a legacy of that ancient survival mechanism. So, if this system is so powerful, should we always trust it? The answer is no. A gut feeling is not an infallible message from the future. It is a data-driven hypothesis generated by your past. And like any data-driven system, its output is only as good as the data it was trained on. Your unconscious database is full of biases, outdated information, and faulty connections. For example, if you had a single bad experience with a person from a certain background, your pattern-matching brain might wrongly flag every person from that background as a potential threat. That's not intuition, that's prejudice. Your gut feeling is simply reflecting the flawed data you fed it. A gut feeling can also be simple fear or anxiety, not a valid warning. If you have a deep-seated fear of public speaking, you will get a terrible gut feeling before every presentation, even if you are perfectly prepared and the audience is friendly. Your system is flagging the situation itself as a threat based on past fear, not on any new relevant data in the present moment. It's a false alarm. The key is learning to distinguish between a true intuitive hit and these other signals like anxiety or bias. This is a skill that takes practice. One way to start is by examining the quality of the feeling. True intuition often feels quiet, calm, and neutral. It's not loud, frantic, or emotionally charged. It's a simple, clear sense of is or no. Anxiety, on the other hand, often feels chaotic, loud, and repetitive. It comes with a whole story attached. What if I fail? What if they laugh at me? What if everything goes wrong? A true gut feeling is often just the signal without the story. Another crucial factor is expertise. The more high-quality experience you have in a certain domain, the more reliable your gut feelings will become in that area. A veteran firefighter's gut feeling that a building is about to collapse is based on thousands of hours of experience. His unconscious brain has seen countless subtle patterns in smoke color, sound, and air pressure that a novice wouldn't notice. His intuition is highly trained. Similarly, an experienced doctor might get a gut feeling that a patient has a rare disease, even if the initial tests are normal. Her unconscious has picked up on a constellation of subtle symptoms that match a pattern she encountered years ago. But if you're a novice in a particular field like stock market investing, your gut feelings are probably not very reliable. They're more likely to be based on fear, greed, or a half-remembered news headline than on any real expertise. In situations where you are a novice and there is a lot of hard data available, it's often wiser to trust your slow, analytical brain. Do the research. Analyze the numbers. So, when is it best to listen to your gut? It's most valuable in situations involving people and in situations that are complex, fast-moving, and have a lot of missing information. When you're hiring someone, making a new friend, or choosing a business partner, your intuition is a powerful tool. Your unconscious brain is a far better judge of character than your conscious mind. It picks up on all the non-verbal cues that your logical brain misses. It's also crucial for personal decisions. Decisions about your career path, your relationships, or your creative work often can't be resolved with a spreadsheet. These are decisions about what feels right for you. That feeling of rightness is a signal from your integrated gut-brain system, telling you that a particular choice is aligned with your deepest values and past experiences. Ignoring that signal can lead to a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. You can also improve the quality of your gut feelings. You can train your intuition, just like any other skill. The first step is to improve the quality of the signal from the gut itself. This means taking care of your physical health. The gut microbiome, the trillions of bacteria living in your digestive tract, has a profound impact on your second brain. A healthy, diverse microbiome sends clear, healthy signals to the brain. A poor diet, high in processed foods and sugar, can lead to inflammation and an imbalance of gut bacteria, which creates static and noise on the gut-brain axis. This can cloud your mood and your intuition. Eating a whole foods diet, getting enough sleep, and managing stress are not just good for your body, they are essential for clear intuition. The second step is to learn to listen. In our noisy, distraction-filled world, we often ignore the subtle signals from our bodies. Practices like meditation or mindfulness can help. They train you to quiet the chatter of your conscious mind and simply pay attention to the physical sensations in your body. This practice, sometimes called developing interoception, is the ability to sense your internal state. The better you get at noticing the subtle shifts in your gut, your heart rate, and your breathing, the better you'll get at noticing the first whispers of a gut feeling. The final step is to create a feedback loop. Start paying attention to your hunches. You don't have to act on all of them, but notice them. Keep a journal. When you have a gut feeling about someone or something, write it down. Then, watch what happens. Did your feeling turn out to be accurate? If so, what were the subtle cues you might have picked up on? If it was wrong, what might have been behind the feeling? Was it fear? Was it a bias? By doing this, you are actively training your pattern recognition machine. You are teaching your conscious mind to understand the language of your unconscious. Over time, you'll get better at recognizing a true intuitive signal and distinguishing it from the noise of your own anxieties. The concept of a gut feeling is moving from the realm of folk wisdom into the world of hard science. We now understand the intricate neurochemical highway connecting our two brains. We understand the immense unconscious processing power of the mind, and we understand how these two systems come together to create a form of intelligence that is holistic, fast, and deeply personal. A gut feeling is not an enemy of logic. It is a different kind of logic. It's the logic of the whole person, not just the calculating mind. It's your body and your brain, your past and your present, all working together to offer you guidance. It's a compass, not a map. It doesn't tell you every step to take, but it points you in a direction. Learning to read that compass is one of the most essential skills we can cultivate. It's the process of learning to trust the wisdom that is already inside you.